My name is Axel Post, and the man sitting across from me is Tate Stone Frasina, and this is Thinking Right Center. And today we are doing my favorite team. And normally, most years, I'd be very excited to do my favorite team, but my favorite team is the Boston Red Sox. And if you follow the offseason at all, you've known that it's not been a very exciting offseason. Maybe it'll change with Jordan Montgomery in the next couple days, but I've had my hopes and dreams crushed the entire offseason, so I'm not too hopeful for it. We will run through who they've lost, who they've added, who they've traded, and some over-unders, a general overview of the team. So first, we'll go through what they've lost. I'm going to say we this entire episode.
I did too for the Braves. Yeah.
I can't help it. The Red Sox lost to Justin Turner, which I understand why we did not re-sign Justin Turner, but Justin Turner is objectively awesome. So it sucked to see him go, especially to the Blue Jays. So we got to see him a lot in the division. He still hits the shit out of the ball. We lost James Paxton. We lost James Paxton to the Dodgers because the Dodgers signed everybody. Actually had a really good stretch of baseball last year, James Paxton. We'll talk about him briefly with the Dodgers team review. So wasn't too heartbroken about that, but with the way the starting pitching depth looks, it's sad to see another starting pitcher go. And Adam Duvall, question mark, because he hasn't been signed yet. I don't think they're going to, because it's already kind of a logjam in the outfield, which we'll get to. But that's really all they've lost so far to free agency. They didn't have a lot of guys coming off the books to begin with. The sad part is they didn't really gain anybody. So they signed Lucas Giolito, who I really don't like. I am hoping for the best. I really don't have the highest hopes for Lucas Giolito. The only good thing that I can say about him is that he's going to pitch. There's a lot of pitchers that don't pitch, right? Tyler Glasnow doesn't pitch. Chris Sale for large portions of time didn't pitch. Lucas Giolito pitches. So there's the value there. You're paying him a lot of money. I think it's $18.5 million for both, not both years, but each year. And that's a lot of money for a guy that just pitches, but we have Andrew Bailey. We have a little bit of a new pitching lab thing going on, so maybe they see something. We signed Cooper Criswell, who's just a guy. He's fighting for a spot in the bullpen. He got a major league deal, which is weird because he got DFA'd by the Rays.
Okay.
Managed to get himself a major league deal. I think the slider plays.
Yeah.
Signed Michael Fulmer, who's going to miss the entire year, signed him to a 2-year deal, so he's a 2025 guy. And basically did the same thing with Liam Hendriks. He's might be back. He got TJ in August, so he could be back for the later half of the season. But either way, you're just paying him to rehab this year and then the next year. Super excited about signing Liam Hendriks. He's the coolest guy in the world.
So sick.
Honestly, even if Liam Hendriks sucks, it's just cool that Liam Hendriks is on my baseball team.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
And Justin Slayton was our Rule 5 pick. He's an exciting Rule 5 guy. I looked into him. His fastball is really, really good. His slider plays. He's going to be, and I think he stays with the Red Sox in the bullpen. But again, I mean, we're talking about Rule 5 guys. We're the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, it's not business as usual this year.
No, it's not even close to business as usual. And then pretty active in the trade market. This is where, some notable things actually did happen. The boring one is that we traded, I keep saying traded Luis Arias for Isaiah Campbell. Isaiah Campbell is former Mariners reliever.
Yeah.
Spins the shit out of a slider. I don't know if you've seen it. He's got a cool mustache, spins the fuck out of a slider, and basically just keeps throwing a slider. He just spins it, throws a decent enough fastball to get by. So he's a bullpen piece. That's great. Bullpen pieces are great. Luis Arias was essentially useless. I actually liked that trade on the margins. Then you had Tyler O'Neill. So here's an upside play. Trade for Tyler O'Neill for Nick Robertson and Victor Santos to the Cardinals. Nick Robertson's going to be a good reliever, but again, he's a reliever. Tyler O'Neill's a great upside play. You're basically trading him because you needed somebody to replace Verdugo, who you traded for Richard Fitz, aka Dick Fitz.
Dick Fitz, baby.
Awesome name. Can't wait to say it all the time. Greg Weissert, another slider guy that
Yeah,
throws hard as hell.
I like his slider a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, he's nasty. He's like, the only thing is, does he know where the ball's going?
Yeah, exactly.
And Nicholas Judas, who is like 18, but just
Judas.
so a couple cool names coming over from the Yankees for Alex at the very least. Richard Fitz probably gets up at some point this year because somebody on the pitching staff's going to get hurt, and he's safe through a lot of innings in Double A. Like most guys don't throw a lot of innings in Double A. He did. He's ready to be a starter now. So I think he eventually does get up at some point this year, later in the season when injuries start to pile up. But the big one is obviously got Vaughn Grissom for Chris Sale. So our two teams interacted. You got Chris Sale and we got Vaughn Grissom, who I will always love Chris Sale.
Yeah.
I will look at that trade forever. We traded Moncada and Kopech for Sale, essentially. And neither of those two really ended up working out. And we got a World Series ring with Chris Sale. So, and he was our ace. He finished the game on the mound for the World Series. I will always love Chris Sale. I am actually excited for him to go to the Braves, go to a winning team, have a regular offseason. I think those are going to be like huge building blocks for him. But the Red Sox get Vaughn Grissom, and most of you listening probably kind of know who Vaughn Grissom is, but Vaughn Grissom breaks.
He mashed last year.
Vaughn Grissom breaks. And the problem with him for the Braves is that the only spot that he could really play, like realistically, the only spot where he would fit is shortstop. Right. And he can't really play shortstop that well. He's almost there, but not really, like not quite there. And you're not going to play him at second because Ozzie Albies is there. There was no other position for him. The one weak spot on the Braves is shortstop.
Yeah, and they did work him out in left field, but I think they gave up on it pretty quick.
Well, they traded him it felt like they were working him out in left field for like 3 weeks and then he got traded.
Exactly. But I'm so happy. Like, I think that trade we talked about in the Braves preview, like, really just helps both teams. And I'm happy for Vaughn Grissom to get a chance to play.
Totally. I think Vaughn Grissom has 6 years of control. The Red Sox have made it apparently clear that this year is not the year that you're going balls to the wall for. So you trade Chris Sale, who was on his last year, for guys that has 6 years of control. And the AAA stats for Vaughn Grissom, he hit 330 with a 419 on base and a 501 slug.
Unreal.
He walked 12% of the time, only struck out 14% of the time. He just rakes, man. Like he had a brief cameo in 2022 when Albies got hurt, right?
Yeah.
And he had a 121 WRC plus over that time.
It's crazy how good he is, especially like he was an 11th round pick in 2019,
2019, right before COVID.
Yeah. Crazy.
So the Red Sox did not have a second baseman. I loved Christian Arroyo, but he's a bench player.
Yeah.
We had Luis Arias, a bench player. It's been a recycling. Like, we've just recycled second baseman ever since Pedroia left, honestly.
Exactly. I really hope you found long-term answer in Vaughn Grissom because the guy he's awesome.
I think we have, because anybody that can borderline play shortstop can play a good second base.
You know where his first MLB home run was?
Fenway, off Darwin's and Hernandez. I will never forget it.
Fenway. Yeah. Over the monster. So sick.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's going to be a cool clip in 10 years when Vaughn Grissom's the MVP for the Red Sox.
Yes.
But I'm super excited about Vaughn Grissom. I think we have a second baseman for a while now. It's like set in stone. That's a good trade. On the margins, that is a good trade. It would look even better if you added to like free agents, with Vaughn Grissom. I can speculate as much on Montgomery as I want to. I was completely out on the Red Sox doing anything a couple months ago, but the market's not moving for any of these guys. Nobody's taking
everyone's waiting for it to go down.
And if it goes down to where the Red Sox are comfortable with doing it and they do it, then the season outlook changes entirely if Montgomery gets signed.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to ask you, I mean, like obviously new GM, like what do you think of the moves that he's made so far?
I think he's working in a. I can't blame Craig Breslow, just like I can't blame Chaim Bloom, because I think they have a budgetary restriction, and he's,
Yeah.
I think all of these moves. I love the Tyler O'Neill trade is a great upside trade for two relievers.
Yeah.
The Verdugo is just never going to work out here. To be honest, he was in his last year. Him and Cora seemed like they were butting heads. They had the clip when he got traded to the Yankees that I forget exactly what he said, but something along like you tell he didn't love Cora. Cora benched him a couple times.
Yeah.
And to get three players back for Verdugo, one that's probably like a pretty safe fifth starter or at least long reliever. Then you have an electric reliever who you might be able to work with, and then you take your flyer with the 18.
Yeah.
For 1 year of Alex Verdugo, I thought it was a great trade. Oh, and I missed one trade. We traded John Schreiber for David Sandlin.
Yeah.
Which I liked because I think if you can get any type of starting pitching prospect for a reliever, I think you should do it.
Yeah, I mean, we love prospects.
Like, yeah, I do too.
It's like the mystery box where it's like, I don't know if you've ever seen Family Guy, where he's like, Peter, would you like the boat or the mystery box? He's like, well, a boat's a boat. The mystery box could be anything.
Yeah.
The boat.
And it was David Sandlin,
like comedy show.
Yeah. David Sandlin does not factor into this season, so we're not going to really.
No. But yeah, the mystery box of prospects is always way more exciting than what you already know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we fall victim to that every year, but it's so fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too high on Schreiber anyway. He looked pretty bad last year, and he's a 30-plus-year-old reliever. So yeah, fine. I don't care.
Why not, right?
All Red Sox Twitter is fucking burning down because we traded John Schreiber. I'm like, oh my God, dude, it's unbearable. Red Sox Twitter right now is unbearable.
That's so funny, dude.
So, we talked, about a lot about Vaughn Grissom just because that's fun. But to round out the lineup, Jarren Duran, who's coming off a great season last year.
Big fan of that guy. Big fan.
Yeah, I think he hits the ball really, really hard, like harder than you might think for a guy that has the speed that he has.
Yeah.
He's more of a doubles guy. He's not great at pulling the ball in the air, so he's not going to maximize his power. Yeah. But that's fine. The only thing that I wish Duran did better, like he's so athletic and he's so fast, but the defense is just not that good.
And we've kind of like been waiting for it,
Yeah, but he did improve last year, but he was still below average. He was horrid when he first came up.
Yeah, I remember the famous one of him like losing the ball. I was like, this kind of encapsulates his season.
Yeah, against Toronto, we lost that game. I think like 20 or 25-4.
But I'm a big Jarren Duran fan. Like he
can swing it, man.
He looked good.
He looked really good. He made some very significant changes.
Yeah.
And I think the best spot for him to play would be left field.
Okay.
Because I think that Rafaela is going to start the season in center, or it's going to be like a month and you play Rafaela in center, because Rafaela in center is special defensively.
Yeah.
Very, very good defensively. I think moving Duran to left, you take Yoshida. But here's the logjam that you have in the outfield. So say Rafaela proves that he can swing it enough to be your everyday center fielder. You move Duran to left. And then you have in right field, I think Willie Abreu is going to be your right fielder.
Okay.
A name that not many people know. He came up. It was very limited sample size, 85 plate appearances, but he hit 316 with a 388 on base.
Yeah, I only know about him because of you, because we were talking about it last year, but yeah.
Yeah, he walks a lot. He might strike out a little bit, but he walks a lot. He commands the zone. He looks very hitterish.
Yeah.
That very old-timey baseball term. He looks very hitterish.
He's got it.
He has played some center field in the minors, so him in right field, I'm pretty comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But then what do you do with Tyler O'Neill, who you just traded for?
Yeah.
And then what do you do with Rob Refsnyder, who's still on your roster? Yoshida's probably going to be your full-time DH, but you kind of hate having somebody just clog up your DH role.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think they're going to actually go back and sign Duvall, because where does he fit in? There's no point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and maybe Rafaela in the spring sucks, right? And he gets delayed because he's such a free swinger. Like he raked in the minors. Rafaela raked in the minors last year. He got called up to AAA and hit like 8 home runs in 11 games or something crazy like that. But he swings at everything, like literally everything. So that against higher level pitching might really not play well at all. So
yeah.
But again, he just needs to hit enough because the defense is that good. But
yeah.
Shuffling the outfield, I'm curious to see what Cora ends up doing there. But Duran's going to be in the lineup regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Put that out there straight. And then you have your infield, and the infield is the exact opposite of the outfield. You know exactly who's playing every position.
Yeah.
Evans is going to play third. Story's going to play short. Grissom's going to play second, and Casas is going to play first.
I like that infield.
That's a good infield. This is why Red Sox fans are so pissed off that they're not adding pitching, because you look at Devers and Casas could legitimately be a Bash Brothers type of duo.
Yeah, they're guaranteed to rake. Yeah,
they're going to rake.
Yeah,
like Devers hit 33 home runs in like a down year.
Yeah,
Casas was horrible for the first 2 months of the season. He was hitting under 200. He finished the year hitting 263 with 24 bombs.
Unreal.
And Casas just turned 24. Devers just turned 27.
I'm a big Casas fan. Like, he can only get better.
He's only going to get better. Awesome. I think he's a lock to hit 30 plus homers. So is Devers too. Like, Devers is going to hit you at least 30. Casas is going to hit you at least 30. The guy that, weirdly enough, Vaughn Grissom is not the guy that I'm worried the most about in the infield. It's Story.
Yeah, Trevor's Story, like, I mean, it's just like that play's been so up and down, and like injuries, you just really don't know.
This is the year where you can determine if the deal was a complete waste of time or not, because he has been hurt. And last year, I will cut him the benefit of the doubt because he was coming off injury, but he was awful when he came back.
Yeah.
He hit 203. He had 168 play appearances when he came back. Hit 203, 250 on base with a 316 slug.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It was bad, but he did play really good defense at short. And the arm, he proved that his arm was now healthy enough to play shortstop again, which is huge, because if he was clogging up second base, it would be a real problem.
Yeah.
So just hit league. If Trevor Story hits league average, I think it's a successful season.
Oh, for sure. For sure successful. Yeah.
It's not what you signed him to do, obviously, but if he comes back, is healthy, hits league average, plays above average defense at short, then that's all you're looking for him to do.
Yeah.
Yoshida is interesting.
Yeah.
He kind of struggled. Like, he actually didn't really struggle. He struggled for like 2 weeks to begin the season, and then raked for a while, and his walk rate was super high, and he was hitting like 330 over his period of time, and then really tailed off the last couple months of the season. Stopped walking, which was the weirdest thing. He barely walked anymore, and was hitting everything on the ground. And I think I'm going to project him to play better than he had. He had an on base of 338 and a slugging of 445. He hit 289. I think he's going to hit 300.
Okay.
I think he's that kind of a bat. And I think it does take we play 162 games in the MLB. They play a lot of fucking games, and the travel schedule is tough, man. So it makes sense for a guy's first year from Japan to kind of tail off towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I am excited about Yoshida. I think he gets better, but very marginally. I don't think the ceiling is super, super high. I don't think you're going to be like, oh my God, Yoshida hit 30 home runs. Like, that's not going to happen. He hit 15 last year. He's probably going to hit around 15 again. That's just our profile. Hits the ball on the ground way too much. It's like 57% ground ball rate. It's crazy, crazy high. But he's a good bat. Regardless of what you think of the contract, he's a good bat. He's going to hit. We have so many outfielders now that he doesn't have to play left field. Thank God.
He's
horrible. Not a good left fielder.
Yeah.
And then your catcher. It's not a great catching tandem, but it's serviceable. Connor Wong and Reese McGuire. One of them jerks off, one of them doesn't.
Well, we don't know if the other one does. But we do know for sure that one does.
Well, at least Connor Wong's never gotten caught.
Yeah.
So
that's still so funny.
Such a funny story.
Connor Wong's, pretty good defensively.
Yeah, he in terms of, I think his value is heightened more so than it would be because of the new rules, because he throws everybody out.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think if they weren't running as much still, like if stolen bases were not as prevalent as they were last year, I think you could make the case that Connor Wong shouldn't be your starting catcher. But now that people do steal again, you can have Connor Wong and kind of feel all right about it. He hits the ball surprisingly really hard.
Really?
It's just a matter of making enough contact, which he probably will never do. He's almost 28. He was in the minors for a really long time. So the last remaining piece of the Mookie Betts deal is a fringy starting catcher.
What a deal that was.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And then Reese McGuire is fine. Whatever.
Yeah, he's fine.
They're fine. The catchers are fine.
That's what you need. You just need fine. That's fine.
They're fine. Then the bench is projected Emmanuel Valdez. So Emmanuel Valdez and Wilber Abreu is who we got from the Astros for Christian Vasquez for half a season. This is a great return, by the way.
Yeah.
To get a starting right fielder and a bench bat for half a year of Christian Vasquez, who now is horrible.
Yeah, it's totally perfect. Yeah.
Is great. And Manuel Valdez can kind of swing it a little bit. I like having him as an infielder on your bench. Bobby Dahlbeck is projected to start the year on the bench. I love Bob.
He's gonna figure it out.
I love and hate Bob because Bobby Dahlbeck will occasionally go up to the plate, and it feels like when he's walking up to the plate, he's going, "I'm not going to swing at any pitch, or I'm going to swing at every pitch."
Mm-hmm.
It's no discernible difference, and I don't know when he's going to do it, but he does hit fucking bombs.
He's got to figure it out at some point.
Do you know about the year he had in the minors last year?
No. I'd love to know.
Oh, if I can find it. I can't. I do know he hit 35-ish home runs in the minors. He was the Red Sox player of the year.
Oh my God. That's so depressing. Like that's the same with Joe Adell.
I know.
He's the best AAA hitter of all time. And then he gets to the majors and for whatever reason,
the sad part is that Dahlbeck still struck out like 30% of the time in AAA.
He's incredible.
I don't ever think he's really going to figure it out, but hopefully, I don't know, maybe against lefties, he can control the strikeout rate enough, hit home runs to where he's valuable in that way.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of his last year to see if he can, not strike out a ton. And then Rob Refsnyder is on your bench. Kills
Refsnyder.
Kills lefties.
Yeah. Murders.
He's the man. I love that he's still in the roster. He's a guy you kind of forget about. Good amount. But he'll be on the bench. He'll probably he gets to shield Abreu and Duran from the lefty starting pitchers.
Yeah.
And you just go and you feel good about it. So the lineup, scored the 11th most runs in baseball last season. I think
they got better.
You could they're going to get better just from the growth of Casas. Story's back for a full season. You lose Verdugo, but you add O'Neill. The lineup's pretty good.
I like that lineup. Yeah.
The lineup's fine. But now we get to talk about the part where it's not fine. It could be fine. But I'm trying to convince myself that it's going to be fine. So Fangraphs has a weird way they think this rotation. They have Giolito at 1 right now, but I'll rearrange this. So what it should, Bayo is going to be your 1.
Yeah.
I like Brian Bayo. Obviously, you should like Brian Bayo.
Like a lot.
Yeah. Brian Bayo is just about to turn 25 years old. last season had a 4.24 ERA and 157 innings. The strikeout stuff was not quite there. He only had 132 Ks, but in the minors, he was striking out 12 per nine.
Yeah.
11 to 12 per nine. I think you see the strikeout number tick up. I think you see a sub 4 ERA. And he's certainly not an ace, but he's a starting pitcher one that you rely on day in and day out to go get you outs. Then your two, in my opinion, should be Nick Pivetta.
Okay.
Nick Pivetta. So I feel like he's almost like a meme player at this point.
He is.
But so Nick Pivetta on June 1st had an ERA in the mid fives.
Okay.
From that point on in the season, he pitched 91 innings. He had a 3.18 ERA. Opponents hit 180, and he struck out 131 batters.
Crazy.
He added a slider.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Huge because his fastball's always been really good. His shape's good. His velo's pretty good.
Yeah.
But his command's a little iffy with the fastball on occasion. And his curveball is actually good too. He's a very beautiful looking curveball.
Yeah, exactly.
But his curveball's so big that it's also hard to throw for a strike.
Yep.
So he kind of figured out, Kershaw's slider. It's kind of like a gyro slider.
Exactly.
It doesn't have this big movement, but it's still a slider. He started throwing that, and he had really good command with it. So when he got down 2-0, he didn't have to just pump in a fastball.
Yeah.
He could throw. It was kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like your cutter.
Kind of like me. Yeah.
Like, honestly, yes.
The exact same process that I went through.
Yeah. So instead of, getting down and having to give in, he could actually just throw a slider, get it to 2-1, fastball 2-2, you're right back in your count.
Exactly.
And I really like Nick Pivetta. I think he's going to have a good year. I think this is a contract year as well, which is obviously very good in terms of motivation to go make some money. Then I think your three is Giolito. And this is where Giolito comes in. And like I said earlier, he's going to pitch.
Yeah.
He's going to pitch.
Guy's not going to get hurt. Sometimes you wish he would.
Yeah, he threw 184 innings last year.
I mean, across 3 teams.
Yeah. Yeah. And he apparently went through a divorce last year too.
Oh.
During the season.
Could explain.
That sucks.
That would be.
That sucks. You go through a divorce. First of all, you're on the White Sox.
Let's not forget the worst thing. You're in the South.
You're on the White Sox. You go through a divorce. You get traded to the Angels, who then DFA you, and then you go to Cleveland. That sucks. That's a year from hell. So I think he's going to have a 4.8 ERA? Like, probably not. But he's going to have like a mid fours, and fine, sure.
And he wasn't that bad before his the end of the year when he was getting shuffled around.
He had a sub 4 ERA.
Yeah.
First half.
Yeah, exactly. Like he looked like Lucas Giolito.
Yeah, there's something there. It's just the home run rate is crazy. He gave up the second most home runs in base. He gave up 41 home runs last year. He's kind of another, I know, because he gets behind and then he just throws a fastball. And his fastball used to be, his fastball used to be like 95, 96. Now it's more 93, 94.
Yeah, and it looks like flat and slower.
Yeah, it just gets pummeled.
It doesn't have the ride it used to have with that like short arm action they started.
Yeah. So listen, I'm okay. You're paying him too much to be a mid fours guy, but in terms of watching baseball, it's going to be a watchable.
Yeah, and I also think like the Red Sox really have nothing to lose with this signing.
No, I mean they have the money.
Not a ton of expectation. If he does well, you could you could make a run or you could trade him. It doesn't really, Like I just think it's a good signing to see.
Then here's Cutter Crawford.
We love him. He's amazing.
Cutter Crawford is good.
He's got good stuff.
Cutter Crawford's really, really good. I don't Cutter Crawford on Stuff Plus. His fastball is 111, his cutter is 108, and his slider is 112. He also throws a changeup, which is okay.
Yeah. But that's all you need.
He has three plus pitches with good command.
Oh yeah.
It works, man. His fastball is really good. He weirdly had a ERA in the sixes last year at Fenway. Everywhere else, he had like a 3-something ERA. So I don't really know what that is, but all in all, he ended with a 4.04 ERA and 129 innings. And
Big Cutter Crawford fans.
I love Cutter Crawford. I think him and Pivetta, I think, are slept on a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And Crawford is about to turn 28. He's still pretty young. He hasn't pitched that much in the bigs. So I think maybe he's benefiting from a full offseason of knowing he's going to go in and be a starting pitcher for the Red Sox. I like Crawford. I think in terms of a guy that could pop, like really reach some kind of potential here, I think Cutter Crawford's going to be your guy.
Yeah.
And I know that people are, in number 5. Well, I guess we'll just talk about him now because it segues perfectly. It's Tanner Houck.
Who I still love.
I do too, but I would like him more in the bullpen, to be honest. I don't think he's ever going to figure it out in terms of being a starter. The third time through the lineup numbers for him are brutal.
Really?
Brutal. He can't figure. I think it might be more a mental thing than anything pitching wise at this point, because we gave him so many opportunities to figure it out, and he kind of just didn't. He ended the year. He got hit in the head with a line drive too, so let's keep that in mind.
Yeah.
He had a 5.01 ERA and 106 innings, which is not good, but the stuff is great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like with his stuff, it should just be so much better.
So the 5 spot's going to be between Houck. I don't know if they plan on using Whitlock as trying to trot him out again.
Yeah.
And who do they have? They've got a couple guys competing.
I'm also a big Garrett Whitlock fan. I think he has the ability to be really good.
I just think Whitlock and Houck, I stick them in the bullpen, and I have 2 good bullpen guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I call it a day.
Yeah.
But the problem is you can't do that because you have nobody in terms of starting pitching help coming up.
Yeah.
You have no depth. And that's what sucks. This will be the Red Sox downfall, because 5 guys don't start baseball games the entire year for you anymore.
Exactly.
They all get hurt. It's just the nature of pitching is that they get hurt. And, sure, Brandon Walter is fine. Chris Murphy, I actually like. Cooper Criswell, who is competing for a spot in the bullpen, so he's not really even a starter. And then you have Richard Fitz, who, and again, we talked about it with, who did we talk about it with? The Orioles.
Yeah.
Starting pitching depth.
Yep.
I don't trust guys that haven't thrown many innings. Unless they're,
you have no idea what you're going to get.
Unless they're Yuri Perez, where the stuff's unhittable. It doesn't matter who he's throwing it to. None of these guys are cracking any type of top 100 prospects list.
Yeah.
We have nothing for starting pitching in terms of depth. And I think that's going to be your downfall. Like if God forbid Brian Bayo gets hurt.
Yeah.
If Brian Bayo gets hurt, then Nick Pivetta is your one. And I've ranted about how good I think Nick Pivetta is, but that's a disaster if he's your one pitcher.
Yeah.
So the pitching is just not good. I've found a way to find positives between all of them, but I like Cutter Crawford, but Cutter Crawford's ceiling is a 3 or a 4, and Pivetta's ceiling is a 3 or a 4. Bayo's ceiling is probably more so a 2. I don't think he's going to be your guy you trot out there all the time. Giolito could suck, like actually be really bad.
Yeah. No, it does seem pretty dangerous going into the season with this little depth.
It's not good.
Yeah, no.
It's not good because it's going to bite us in the ass. I know. I just know it's going to bite us in the ass. One of these guys is going to get hurt. 2 of them might get hurt, and then we're just going to be fucked.
Yeah, we were realistic. I mean, obviously the division got a lot better around them.
That too. If the Red Sox, so we'll talk about the bullpen too. The bullpen's kind of the same way. It's the depth is, you have Kenley, who's fine. He's a closer. He's fine. Whatever.
Fine, yeah.
I'm not in love with him. right? I had a 3.6 ERA, but the stuff looked all right.
Started throwing hard last year randomly,
and then it tailed off.
Yeah.
So when he throws hard, if Kenley Jansen comes in the game and the first pitch is 96, the game's over.
Yeah.
If Kenley Jansen comes in the game and the first pitch is 92, you're fucked. It's just
Okay.
how it played.
Yeah.
So but that's just the roller coaster you're gonna have to ride. Chris Martin was the greatest pitcher in the world last year.
Random.
He had a 1.05 ERA in 51 innings. He was, and I expect him. He's not going to have a 1 ERA again, but he's still very good. He's very old, but he's very good. Josh Winchowski had a 2.88 ERA in 84 innings, kind of tailed off at the later part of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we've touched on Whitlock a little bit, hoping for a bounce back with him. Shown signs of being a really good reliever. Brendan Bernardino pitched really well last year. He's our one lefty that I kind of trust in the pen right now, but I say kind of trust because, he broke out in the scene last year as a 31-year-old lefty reliever that throws 90.
The dream.
Right. I don't know, man. He could suck. It's the nature of relievers. They come and go. Isaiah Campbell is a slider guy. We just re-signed Joely Rodriguez, who saw a tick down in velocity, hoping to see it come back because he was injured. And then you have Justin Slayton for now. Maybe he gets sent back. I personally think he stays and is a decent reliever. But the problem with the pitching is that there's not a lot of upside and there's not a lot of depth either.
No, exactly.
So that's not exciting.
No.
You'd be like, oh, so nobody can be an ace. Nobody can be like an elite closer, but they could all be very bad.
Yeah.
That's not exciting. And it will be the downfall of this team. But the over-under is 80.5. So I just kind of made my pitch for why I probably am going to pick the over.
Okay.
But you're probably more objective than this. I try to stay objective on the Sox, but it's very difficult because I watch them.
That's because what we talked about. Like, I think pitching really does win you ball games, right? I'm going to say the under. Like, I do love that lineup, but like having to play the teams in their division so many times, like I don't think the pitching can hold up throughout the whole season.
That is the problem, because if you threw this team in the AL Central right now, you'd be like, hey, they're competing.
Yeah, they could win it. Yeah,
they could win it, because we're going to talk about the Royals at one point, and we're definitely going to say they could win the Central.
Yeah,
this team's better. This team's better than the Royals.
Yeah, it's just it's that division.
It's the nature of the division. The division's so good. Legit might have 4 playoff teams in this division.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think the Red Sox are going to be one of them.
Nah.
I can hope, though. That being said, I am going to take the over on 80.5. I think they win 81 games.
Oh, nice.
They go exactly 500, the most mediocre season ever. And I do have the right. We both have the right to change this pick if Jordan Montgomery signs with the Red Sox.
I think, if Jordan Montgomery signs with the Red Sox, I like that.
Right. If Montgomery signs with the Sox, then you lengthen out your depth. Not a ton, but a little bit. You feel a little bit better about it. And you have your starting pitcher one. Again, it's a guy that doesn't have, that upside. Like, he doesn't have the Blake Snell. Like, this guy legit might win the Cy Young, but lengthening out the depth would be huge. And it's just, I'm going to take him to go 81 and 81. It's so boring, but that's
81.
It's just the way that the offseason's played out. So a little bit sad, but a lot of things to be really intrigued about in terms of the younger players, especially in the lineup.
I agree.
That is going to do it. I ranted about the Red Sox for I don't know how long. So
it's a long one.
Thanks, you guys.